Veronica's eyes turned a deep crimson, filled with ravenous hatred. She cried out that she herself had been dragged into this fight, her voice echoing powerfully across the battlefield. Without hesitation, she activated a forbidden technique, a heretical invocation that called upon Urim, an ancient ruler from remote times. Moments later, a colossal entity responded to her call. Urim materialized out of nowhere, so vast that it seemed to cast a shadow over the sky. At that exact moment, the attack of the undead Pope collapsed completely. He could no longer sustain the fight. He knelt, using both hands to steady himself on the ground. Around him, the radiant flames that once surrounded the army of monsters vanished, though by then, it no longer mattered. Every creature had been reduced to mere skeletons, victims of destruction. With his last reserves of strength, the undead Pope roared furiously, calling out to those mad creatures and warning that, ultimately, the world would be destroyed by their own actions. However, his tone shifted, and he begged his God to save humanity. His desperate voice echoed across the field, blending with the dust and smoke rising into the air. Veronica watched silently, reflecting that all of this had begun due to the Pope's mistakes, which had attracted the attention of those ancient heretical entities. Behind her, the crack in space slowly closed, ending the invocation. However, the cost had been high. Veronica felt her energy drain away, and she relied on her staff, barely able to stand. She asked Ado to take her away from the battlefield. The young girl quickly helped her, soothing her and assuring her that they had already been defeated. She promised to immediately return her to the demon castle and, in a softer tone, said that the three of them, she, Veronica, and Alice, could finally live in peace. Veronica's gaze fell on the ruined field, and silently she thought that, after decades of fighting, even an institution as powerful as the church had fallen before the monsters. At that moment, a voice interrupted the silence. It called the Bone Queen, congratulating her on the impressive victory, accompanied by a mocking laugh. Both Veronica and Ado turned toward the sound at the same time. There stood Lin Tyan, leading a huge army of goblins. For a moment, Veronica appeared surprised, but she quickly regained her composure. She asked how it was possible that Lin had already recovered from her wounds and where such goblin strength had come from. Lin Tyan responded calmly, assuring her that her wounds had never been serious. Regarding the goblins, she explained that they all were her loyal subordinates. This answer further perplexed Veronica, who couldn't understand how she had managed to gather so many powerful goblin leaders. Ado, for her part, did not hide her hostility. She fixed her gaze on Lin Tyan and declared that it was pointless to continue the conversation. With so many goblin leaders present, she suggested that the best course of action would be to eliminate him and turn the goblins into servants of the Great Tomb. Lin Tyan responded with a slight mocking smile, asking if she was truly sure she wanted to end his life. Internally, he allowed himself to mock her, convinced that this demon had finally revealed her true nature, and that he himself would make her regret having ventured into this world. Without hesitation, Ado acted. Driven by her anger, she advanced with determination, trying to demonstrate her strength. Her sharp tail swung in a fearsome arc, heading straight for Lin Tyan, and at the moment it touched him, a surge of crimson energy burst forth forcefully. Her eyes widened in surprise as her attack was stopped midway. A second later, intense pain struck her, and she realized that her tail had been damaged in the encounter. Without wasting time, she demanded to know what Lin Tyan had used to block her. Veronica intervened, warning her that her opponent wore a world-class armor. This only intensified Ado's irritation. She found it impossible to accept that someone she considered merely a goblin could have equipment of such high quality. Without delay, she summoned her weapon and decided to use her most powerful enchantment technique. Bright purple hearts began to appear everywhere, filling the space and enveloping Lin Tyan in a dreamlike, strange field. Ado quickly moved forward, confident that no man could withstand what she had unleashed. However, Lin Tyan remained motionless, with a calm expression that gave the impression he had already been fully controlled by her spell. Seeing this, Ado approached further, convinced that the fight was over. But just at that moment, when she lowered her guard, Lin Tian suddenly moved. He drew his weapon and thrust his spear forcefully, creating a whirlpool of energy that deflected her attack. Ado was entirely surprised, as her technique failed at that very instant. Lin Tian did not give her time to recover and activated his weapon's ability to unleash a lightning bolt, which thundered down upon her. Ado cried out amid the glare, and the impact threw her into the air, crossing through the field. She fell heavily to the ground, unable to get up immediately. Lin Tian watched her calmly and stated that he was not interested in such tricks. He explained that during his time in the dwarf realm, he had been exposed to many similar arts, so they no longer affected him. Within seconds, hundreds of undead knights appeared, each approximately level 95, fully armed and ready for battle. Their combined strength formed a legion capable of crushing any opponent. Lin Tian observed them and issued immediate instructions. He ordered his subordinates to disperse and use their magical tools to wear down the enemy. Both sides began to move quickly, transforming the meadow into a chaotic battlefield. The Goblin army, equipped with world-class weapons, started gaining the advantage almost from the beginning. Each strike managed to defeat groups of undead knights, especially when goblins, at Demon Lord level, intervened in the fight. With such weapons, their power became even more overwhelming. As he watched the combat, Veronica began to realize that she had judged Lin Tian too harshly. It was clear that he had been secretly gathering strength, waiting for the right moment to strike. By allowing the church and the Great Tomb to clash, he had prepared the situation to maximize his benefit. Aware that the battle would not favor her if it dragged on too long, Veronica drew a batou and decided to retreat. A purple portal opened before her, through which she disappeared without a trace, while Lin Tian remained on the battlefield and the portal closed behind him. One of his subordinates asked if they should pursue her immediately, but he shook his head. He considered it too late. Upon reaching the tomb, Veronica would already have recovered her strength to fight again. At that moment, the Holy Mother approached and offered her help. Lin Tian looked at her carefully and asked what she could truly do. Holding the Holy Grail close to her chest, she spoke firmly and proposed an agreement. She told him she could use the artifact to locate Veronica and send her directly to the Great Tomb. In exchange, she wanted him to eliminate Veronica so that the souls of those fallen in the church could finally rest in peace. As she spoke, a system panel appeared in front of him, displaying the information about the Holy Mother. Kaisad, a Holy Mother of the Light at level 99. Although possessing titles and defensive skills, her power in direct combat was surprisingly limited, clearly oriented towards support and healing. Lin Tian studied the data for a moment and let out a small confident smile. He commented that he had never truly intended to let his enemies escape alive. Now that he had a method to find them, there was no reason to hold back. The Holy Mother warned him that the Holy Grail only had enough energy for a single teleportation. If it failed, there would be no second chance. Lin Tian did not seem worried and simply instructed him to use magic to send them to the Great Tomb.